How to operate a wood stove. We will explain how to operate a standard wood-burning wood stove in a home setting. During the cold winter months, nothing beats a warm fire heating up the house. We won't go too into details of what types of wood to use. However, we will cover the safety precautions to bear in mind while using a wood stove, the initial steps to starting the fire, and the additional steps to guarantee an even burning and long-lasting fire. There are a few crucial steps to start a fire in a wood stove and are as follows: cleaning the fireplace, building the fire, lighting the fire, and additionally, keeping the fire going. Make sure the legislation where you live allows such activity, and most importantly, make sure the fireplace and the chimney, by extension, are safe and ready to use. Failure to verify with a professional the state of the apparel might result in smoke intoxication or even a house fire. In the next slides, we will explain in detail the hazards that come with using a fireplace. Danger. A wood stove that is not in working order can cause abundant smoke and carbon monoxide emissions, which can lead to serious injury or even death. When using a wood stove, you are dealing with fire. Do not stand too close to the stove. Do not touch it with your bare hands. Warning: a stray spark can escape the heat. Move any flammable object at least 2 meters away from the wood stove. Only burn appropriate fuel in the wood stove. Before using a wood stove, make sure that your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are in working condition. Also, make sure that a fire extinguisher is nearby. Tools. To light a fire in a wood stove, you will need paper, small pieces of wood called kindling, larger pieces called logs, a tool to start the fire like a lighter or a match, a fire extinguisher, and finally gloves to handle the wood. Cleaning. After the fire has burnt out, wait 12 hours before removing the ashes. Remember, cleaning the ashes is an important step to complete between uses of the wood stove to avoid unnecessary smoke. After the 12 hours, make sure that the embers are all extinguished before using the poker and the shovel to transfer the ashes into a bucket. Lid optional to avoid messiness.
Place a layer of crinkled paper or cardboard on the bottom of the fireplace. This is an important step as the paper is easily flammable and will transfer the fire to the kindling and larger pieces of wood. Next, add kindling on top of the layer of paper, but make sure not to add too much kindling as this could hinder airflow and suffocate the fire while it is being lit. After that, add logs on top of the kindling. Make sure to use smaller logs as they will catch easier, and larger logs can be added once the fire is lit. Note: if you are having trouble lighting your fire or have a smaller wood stove, you may wish to light the fire and wait for the kindling to start burning a little bit before adding the logs to the fire. Before lighting the fire, make sure the air inlet at the bottom of the stove is open so that the flame has as much oxygen as possible. Use a lighter or matches to light the paper in 2 or 3 different spots in order for the fire to catch quickly. Do not close the stove door completely, but leave a small gap so that the new fire can get enough fresh air to catch properly. Warning: never leave the fireplace unattended while the door is open. After about 15 minutes, the fire should have spread to the logs and the door can be closed. Once the fire has caught, the temperature can be monitored with a thermometer that can be placed on top of the fireplace. This is important as running the fireplace too hot for extended periods of time could damage it, and running it too cold for extended periods of time will cause creosote buildup that can lead to chimney fires. In order to maintain the temperature, fire logs can be added on top. When adding a log to the fire, it is important to make sure that the log will fit into the stove before putting it in. It is advised to use gloves and a fire poker to avoid getting burnt while putting the log in. The second way to control the stove is through the air vent system at the bottom. Opening the vent up will give more airflow and allow the fire to burn faster and hotter, while closing the vent will give the opposite effect. Now you are ready to cozy up in front of the fireplace and enjoy a nice book or a cup of hot chocolate.